This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox Newscast. Hello, everybody. This is the XNC Podcast. I thought since I just made this trailer, I thought I would just play it for you on the air. And that was the future of Xbox. We've got a lot coming. We are literally sitting here. Mag and I are sitting here waiting for the ABK FTC decision. Welcome to the podcast. Mag, how are you doing on this crazy business and news time?
Oh man, you know what? I'm doing great. You know what? We got a good show. Listen, not a whole lot of news. I know a lot of people out there disappointed because we didn't get the news that everybody didn't get the news that they expected by today or at least by Friday or something. It did not come, so it could be a while. Who the heck knows? Could be tomorrow morning. Could be an hour after the show's done just to bother us. Yeah, I know. But anyways, it doesn't matter. We're here. You're here. The chat's here. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about games. Let's do something.
Yeah, let's actually do something because I feel like we've been waiting. Like I thought Thursday, I was trying to make plans with a friend of mine. I'm like, some big might happen here Thursday, and I'm like, it might happen Friday, and then I'm glad you said that about when it could happen because I've been looking into we'll talk about it a little bit today. I've been looking into what's going on, and the decision could literally come out like in 1 minute. It could come out sometime during the show, or it could come out, if you're on the West Coast, it could come out just before midnight. It's probably where it's coming out. I don't think it's coming out Tuesday or Wednesday because that would mean they've asked for an extension. I don't think we're in that situation. We'll talk about it. Thank you, everybody, for being here to the show. We might have a shorter show. We've got some stuff we want to talk about. There's some quirky topics, but as far as video gaming news, as far as like generalized news that maybe you're not so interested in anyway, there really hasn't anything been going on. But before we get started, let me read out the listing of the channel members and Patreons as we kind of roll people in. And Mag will stretch out because he's had a crazy day. Thanks to Mark Carwall, KY Bob, Assassin Lupa, Jazzy New, Brick Fallon, Jason Lewan, Moby, Lord Sin Eater, William Riggs, Farscape, Matt Houston, Chan's Wolf, KY Bob, Udonic Kazada, Suicide King, Assassin Lupa, Robert Jackson, Dante Moody, Betamax, Dark CMF, Gaz, Fox Storytelling, Zenner White. I've got to fix this list. It's getting out of hand. I got to fix some mistakes in here. We got it though. Devario 2 Gaming, V Simcoe, Assassin Poochie Dub, Hargy Chani, TK Chillin, Raiden Blade, Cute Perspective, Risk It for the Biscuit, True 77, Micah Ford, Red Source, Quinn's Harmony, Attitude Deer, Pesky Krogan, Pen Pineapple Pen, Trail Roberts, Mac Bound, Meat Puppet, Neil B, Xbox International Podcast, Red Wolf, Alan Adeltree, Gamer by Choice, Jedi J Goalie, Rippin, Highlander, Techno Caveman, Fire 71, That Blue Number, Kung Fu Hot Dog, Silent Cypher, and Uncle Chowder. There we are.
Uncle Chowder and Kung Fu Hot Dog, two of the finest names in the business, I got to tell you. Listen, I see somebody in the chat is already saying like, oh, Colt, look at that shelf behind you. Xbox must have passed you that check. What are you talking about? Look at the arcade behind me. Phil Spencer bought all those machines for me, okay? And that's why I smile and take pics. Anyway,
I was living in a van down by the river before Phil Spencer passed me that check. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Sure.
All right, I'm trying to figure it out here. The Starfield controller over here. Yes, Xbox and Bethesda sent that to me for doing coverage and being at the event. You see the brown controller? It's kind of tough to see here, but that's an Age of Empires 2 controller they sent me for the launch, and they gave me a review code. And there's a Forza Horizon 5 controller. Yeah, so they're bought and paid for. A few controllers. They're amazing. Well, absolutely amazing.
I've got a bunch behind me. I mean, you can't really see them. You can just sort of see the outlines. That's like half. I got a whole collection of controllers because this is my gaming mecca room, right? So this is my podcasting station as well as my gaming center, right? Arcade room. And so yeah, I've got tons of controllers here. However, I got most of them purchased or came with a console, or I actually got a bunch from like random like winnings from like YouTube channels and stuff like that, like just people sending me controllers. So I had two or three controllers sent to me from different YouTubers. So it wasn't from Xbox executives, it was from different YouTubers sending me stuff saying, hey, thanks for your support and all the help and this and that, blah 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 and whatever. So I had people sending me stuff, but other than that, what just be careful, Jaffe will make a video. I've done a video with I've done a podcast with Jaffe, and the funny thing is, for a guy like me, I got 3 words in an hour. The guy does not stop talking. He's like, it's like he was doing an auction for a friggin' cow. It was just like, and I'm sitting there going, and
that's how you are sometimes. Tony. And I watch the comment section when we post the show, and people were like, man, Mag talks 100 miles an hour. The next person's like, Colt, you cut off Mag too much. I'm like, I do? It's my show. No, and then man, I really love having you here, Mag. Like, we have so much fun. You and I are fighting for words. We have a lot to say, right? And yes. I hope you guys enjoy the show, regardless of how Mag and I try to get a word in edgewise against each other. But when you got somebody like our age, right, the geriatric podcast, you got a couple guys sitting on the porch, or sitting in the park, feeding pigeons, trying to talk gaming, like it's bound to be 100. See, I already did. I already overtalked you. But
and here's the thing: behind the scenes, Colt and I really, really dislike each other greatly. So the dynamic on screen, I couldn't get it out without laughing. The dynamic on screen is so much more electric. Anyways, in all seriousness, let's get into the show, Colt, and be sure to cut me off several times during the show.
Yeah, same for you, man. Let's talk about David Jaffe. I really, really, really like David Jaffe, and I always thought he was totally quirky and crazy, and I was right. Like, he is so funny, and we both had the privilege to be on podcasts with him. He is just fun, rolled up into a nice little ball of greatness. And he says some wacky stuff, and we all say wacky things, but he was sort of in a roundabout way accusing Lord Cognito of maybe not having the right amount of integrity or being able to be bipartisan or non-biased by taking pictures with Sarah Bond. And this coming from a photo of him taking pictures of Sarah Bond at Xbox Fan Fest, where the entire point of the Xbox Fan Fest event post game showcase is for fans to go up and shake hands with Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, Aaron Greenberg. Like, that's what it's there for. And
David said that. He said it's where you work in the room, right? Because it's part of the gig. And there's a little bit of both. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I cut him off, folks. In all seriousness, here's the thing.
We'll keep a tally in the chat. Mag 1, Colt 4.
Yeah, put a blackboard behind you and just put like a tick on each one. Yep. But here's the thing: there's a give and take here, and the give and take is that sometimes you work in the room. Yes, you work in the room. I've worked many rooms. I've gone to places where I go with my wife, and she'll just say, "All right, go do your thing," and she'll just push me, and then I go and I'm gone, and I won't see her for another 2 hours. Right? She'll be off doing her own thing, and I'm working the room because I have to work the room for different reasons. This is outside of the video game world. This is when I'm, moving and shaking, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm making big deals and whatever else, and all the connections that I need to make for the big deals. So the point is, that's what they're doing too. Because you, Colt, me, everybody, Iron Lords, everybody else, Jaffe, whoever, Mr. Boomstick, all these guys, Dealer, Rand sometimes. Yeah, I got to get my jabs in. Listen, what they are is that we are essentially free advertising, right? Because we like something and we're promoting that to thousands and thousands of people a week, a day, never mind a week, right? And therefore, there's a combined interest there. We like it because it's our entertainment, right? And it's interesting to us and it's whatever. And yeah, sure, there's some money to be made here and there. But from their end, it's a little bit of both too. They love the industry. They love their job. They like what they're doing. They want to continue making money for their job.
Yeah.
Right? And they want to continue being part of the, like, you can't say that Phil is just an executive. He's not. You know, he's a gamer too. He ain't my it's not like he calls me at home and asks me what I think about this, that, and the other. We're not friends in that respect. And you know, he's still a product and I'm still the consumer, right? But there's a love there. And because there's a love there, there's a give and take. It's not just a cut and dry, black and white sort of situation here where it's just like, oh, well, you know, you're just a shill or you're just a whatever. Well, there's a combination of both. There's a give and take is what I'm getting at, right? And there's a bit of both. Because like I said, they have love. They have love for the industry. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it, right? And they have the love for the industry and everything else. And they also, it's their job as well, right? Okay. So it's a combination of the two things.
So the chat's keyed in on this really well. And there's a lot of people who are defending Jaffe's take, and there's a lot of people who are arguing against it, which is good. This is good discourse because I can already tell Mag sides with Jaffe in a lot of things he said. I also side with some things that Jaffe said. Let's talk about the point you made, Mag, where Jaffe says that these people aren't your friends. He says, like, Phil Spencer is not your friend. Like, they can be friendly to you, but course, you know, they're not your friend. Like, I'm not going to go on vacation with Phil and his family. But it is kind of hard to describe the dynamic that's different. And I'll put it this way. Right now, Xbox is in sort of a grassroots campaign mode where they have to reach out to people and they have to kind of get the word out. And word of mouth is the best advertising, better than putting it on a billboard or on a bus. And if you use word of mouth within the influencer community with content creators, like, it really goes a long way. You get a lot of mileage for nothing. So what Phil is and the team are doing is they've got people like Ninja, and I'm trying to think of there's a really big Twitch streamers and YouTube personalities or semi celebrities that they could go to, but those conversations aren't the same as someone. It's kind of hard to explain because there are content creators that you talked about, Mag, that you listed off, that Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond or Aaron Greenberg watch their content sporadically or occasionally. And so they kind of get to know those people.
Sure.
Right.
You don't think that they're watching and listening to this right now? They are.
Maybe. You know,
not every single one of them. It's not like they're sitting there in a boardroom with us, with with my big stupid face at the end of the big oak table, and they're going, "Oh God, I hate this guy." You know what I mean? But they're not doing that. But they are listening, Colt. They are listening. I can guarantee you, some of them are listening right now. Anyways, carry on. Sorry.
Well, and I'll just say this ambiguously, that one of them DM'd me yesterday and said, "What is going on? Is this like a big deal? Is this a controversy? I'm not all caught up." And I just said, "Look, the big controversy is. This pictures with executives thing was like kind of blowing up yesterday, and it means that if you shake hands with the executives and you look up to them like a fan would, that you're no longer bipartisan, that you cannot remove your bias, that you're bought and paid for." And I said, "Look, you're looking at a small subset of people who are anti-Xbox fans, and they don't like that this kind of camaraderie or this relationship or this, I don't know what the word is, like this business back and forth in a friendly manner, in a casual manner is happening, and they don't understand it." Now, like I've told you on the show, I've had a couple of prominent people at Xbox or Bethesda that say they watch my content. And so, like, when I make my content, I look back and I go, okay. And everybody can say 100% of everything Colt Eastwood puts on YouTube is positive for Xbox. Absolutely not true. But I could tell you at least 80% is very positive, because in my content, I typically will talk about all the things I'm excited about, that we're excited about, and then I'll bring in the things that need improvement. But I don't make entire videos, not normally, except for a couple of cases, where I talk about everything that's wrong with the Xbox platform, because I don't like that negative content, but I do like to bring it up in every single video. So Jaffe was kind of, in a really nice way, it was kind of questioning the integrity of someone like Lord Cognito, who reports on the Xbox platform, but smooches with Sarah Bond in a picture. What do you think about that?
Well, like I say, there's no simple answer to it where, you know, one is right, one is wrong. Everybody had, like, everybody that I see, I've been watching from a distance. Okay, this is what I'm trying to get at here. I've been watching from a distance and sort of overseeing the thing. It's kind of like I'm on the mountain looking at the villagers, and I'm like, what are these guys doing down here? And so I'm sort of watching this whole situation go down, and everybody in one way or another is a little bit right? Where if this was like a buffet, you could take one piece from each person that said something and saying, okay, well, Jaffe was a little right here. You know, this one's a little right here. Some of the people in the community are a little right here. So everybody was right, but God, it's so hard to describe. It's like the idea was there, but I think some of it got twisted, some of it turned a little ugly, some of it got a little silly, you know, and then some people turned it into like I don't know, those just stupid things I don't even want to get into, but like really ridiculous stuff, like really like bad takes. And then I'm like, guys, just come on, let's just calm down here. First of all, you're turning a mountain, you know, you're turning a molehill into a mountain here, and I'm like, let's just relax. And my personal take on the whole situation is this: look, if I'm going to be at one of those events, which I was supposed to go to, I mean, last month, but I didn't end up going. I was close, but then they canceled E3. And my wife was like, I'm not going there, like, you know, spending like 10 grand so that we can just, you know, just go to the one thing.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing that. And I had no desire to go to LA from what I've told from the people that I've talked to, spoken about LA, said, don't go. So I'm like, fine, I'll rather spend that money elsewhere. So we went elsewhere and we had a wonderful time. Right. But if I was going to be there, guess what? If I was in the room with those people, I would have been taking pictures. I would have done all that kind of stuff because it's fun and it is
fun.
But here's the thing: I'm not confused about my position and their position. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting there going, he's my friend now. We're going to go have burritos for dinner tonight, and then he's going to call me at home and ask me what I'm wearing later. Like, that's not how it's going to work. We are not friends. We're friendly, we're cordial.
I ask you what you're wearing, but we're a different situation there.
Well, I mean, but you are paying me for that service, right? I mean, that's right. Part of the Mag OnlyFans. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. Not safe for work, folks. So don't go opening up those pictures. Anyways, in all seriousness, here's the thing: is like I said, I wouldn't be confused as to my position with them, right? If I were in a room with all of them and I'm taking pictures with Sarah Bond, I'd be excited because I'd be like, "Oh, this is really cool." Right? These are people that I look up to and I'm interested in, and I'm interested in what they do and all that kind of stuff on an entertainment level, right? My business, what I do in my personal business, what I do in my corporate world is 100% different from what they're doing, right? So there's no connection on the work level, but there's a connection on the entertainment level of, like, for example, I love James Cameron. I mean, the guy's a bit of a whack job, but I like him. I like his movies, and I like he may be a jerk in real life for all I know, but I like his movies and all that kind of stuff. If I saw James Cameron, I'd take a picture with the guy because I could say, like, listen, look at this. This guy's a legend in the industry or whatever. It's pretty cool to come across these kind of people. I have a picture on the wall right here of William Shatner, which you can't see. One of my idols, right? Is William Shatner my friend? No, but I met him and I took some pictures with him. I had a little chat with him and everything else.
Nice.
And it was a very dude. I told him, I said, thank you for. I didn't even know what to say to the guy. I'm like, thank you for literally my whole life because I've been watching Star Trek since I was like 4. Right. So, anyways, the point is, it's the same thing here. These are people that we idolize because they provide us with entertainment. So therefore, I would take those pictures.
Yes.
And have fun, but you ain't my friend. And I'm not your friend. You're not my friend. And that's cool.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay, now here's another thing. I'm going to say one more thing and I'll pass it off to you. Here's the other thing. People can say I'm an influencer. I'm not an influencer because I don't have a YouTube channel. I chose not to have a YouTube channel. But you know what the funny thing is? My videos and all that kind of stuff double, triple most people's YouTube channels. Okay, I get more, you know what I mean? Like, I get more traffic. That last video I did almost crossed 100,000. All right, that's a lot more than what a lot of people are doing out there. Yeah. Okay, so I could be doing this on YouTube. I choose not to because I don't like their draconian, some of their draconian practices, whatever else. I don't want to get into that. However, the point is that I made that decision. The thing is, I still reach people all over the world. So yes, I do have a say, and yes, I do have a platform, and yes, I do have a voice that people listen to. And therefore, that being the case, I still am an influencer, just in a different way. And the thing is, as a result of that, I'm still not expecting them to be showering me with gifts and stuff, and I'm taking pictures with them, and we're canoodling behind the scenes. I'm sorry, I've been dying to say that word canoodling for like a day now. I like canoodling behind the scenes for this, that, and the other for personal reasons or for business reasons. That's not what's happening here, or it's not going to cloud my judgment as to how I feel.
Yeah.
Right? I could take a picture with every single executive from Xbox. It doesn't mean I'm getting Game Pass again tomorrow. I still have not renewed
right.
Game Pass until there's a reason to. And therefore, as a result, I'm not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a customer. Right?
Yes.
So there's no confusion here. So I don't understand how this got twisted so crazily. But anyways, sorry. Carry on. I just wanted to say canoodling. That's it.
You brought up a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, like on the side channels as you were talking, and I have to try and remember some of these points. But one of the things you said was, like, okay, so I don't worship or idolize executives, but I do have a very nice, I really look up to people that create games, because like when you said the William Shatner thing, when I met Todd Howard, I was like, said the same thing. I was like, thank you for hundreds of hours, for you and your team making something that I just loved for hundreds and hundreds of hours. Thank you for making that possible. And if you meet a musician or an actor, you know, that's in a lot of TV shows or movies you watch, I would say the same thing. Thank you so much for all that you do and what you provided. I've really had a great time watching or listening. And I asked the chat to write, tell us people you've met that are famous. I saw someone said they have a picture of Joan Rivers. Golf says I met Bobby Knight, and I'm going to miss a bunch if I don't keep my eyes on the chat. But I met a lead singer and guitarist for my favorite band in the whole entire world. Got pictures with them, and you know, I just went, hey, I really appreciate your music. Your voice is incredible. I've always looked up to how you're singing or your guitar playing, whatever. You know, go, oh my gosh, which, you know, it can be tough. But, you know, I've met Phil, Matt, Sarah, Aaron, Todd, Pete Hines. They're all really great people. We're all just normal people. But as far as content creators, like, how is meeting Todd Howard? Oh, this is such a great example. So Todd Howard said, Cole, I watch a lot of your videos, and the more I watch, I get recommended more of your videos. And so I'm like thinking, okay, I know Todd Howard has watched the 5 or 6 Starfield videos I made. And I look back and I think, what have I said about that? And I have a couple videos talking about how the performance might not be 60, or how the game doesn't look next generation, doesn't look like something you'd expect in the future. It looks great, right? And I've said these little critiques, like none of that enters in. And this goes into a sidebar about Redfall, because people brought up this, you're influenced by meeting superiors at Xbox or having breakfast with them, and your integrity. People say, Colt, your integrity is, you no longer have any integrity because of what you said for Redfall. These guys don't pay attention. Like, those of you who are here watching the show, you know that we all liked the preview for Redfall. I've said it 100 times. But then when I got my hands on the full game, I was like, oh man, this all kind of really falls apart. And I gave the game a 6.5 out of 10. Now, that doesn't come from, oh, hey, they flew me out, they paid for my Ubers, and oh man, you know, they paid for the 2 Snickers bars I bought at the gas station. No, that doesn't, that's not going to give them an 8 or a 9 on Redfall. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So that's just kind of how it is. Lethal Papa, who's a moderator and is always hanging around these great podcasts and helping take care, and he's cutting the lawn. He's amazing. He says, it's all jealousy, in my opinion. A mutual friend of ours, Dealer Gaming, says, don't tell people that it's jealousy, because then it makes it look like that we're better than them. But I'm like, what is it, Mag? What is it where they're like mad that we're taking pictures or hanging out at FanFest or shaking the hands of these people that make games? Like, is it envy and jealousy, or is it, I want a clean and pure society where no one can be tainted?
Yeah, listen, everybody's going to be rubbing elbows with everybody at some point if you're in the industry. I think that the thing that people get upset about, maybe, you know, Lethal Papa, what's up, Lethal, is that he's right. Is that people do get jealous of that kind of thing, because I got to say, as wonderful as you know, the Sony product is, and their games are wonderful and everything else, and I love them, I adore them, and I have a great time with my PlayStations throughout all the decades that I've been playing it. However, when what's his face left like 5 years ago, or was forcefully left, I think my personal feeling is that he was fired. I always forget his name. Is it Sean Layden?
Sean Layden.
Yeah,
he's so great.
Sorry, like when he left, the charm left. Right. The games were still awesome, but the charm of the company, the face of the company, changed to very dry corporate. You know what I mean? And like I know Jimbo is trying, but he's just not that guy, right? He's just not that guy to be the front face of the company. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the charmer, he's not the performer, he's not the kind of guy that you're gonna take pictures with because you probably won't ever see the guy. He'll do a pre-recorded video. For Christ's sake, he couldn't even show up in court. He did a pre-recorded video for the court. He couldn't even show up in person there. You think he's gonna show up in person and take pictures with you? Right? That's
he's done pre-recorded videos for their fans for their showcases for like the past 3 or 4 years.
I'm starting to think he's not real. Actually, I'm actually starting to think he's actually an android created by Zuckerberg. Yeah,
he's like,
take out
and
Elon.
Here is the PS5 logo.
I'm telling you. Exactly. You know what? You were talking about AI bots last week. Let me tell you something. Jim Ryan is an actual android created by Mark Zuckerberg to take out Elon Musk. But what he's going to do is he's going to send him back in time to take out Elon Musk when he's a child, except we have to send back somebody to protect Elon Musk. We're going to send back Schwarzenegger back to go save him. Hey, come with me if you want to live. So this is that's what's happening.
I mean,
so Jim Ryan's not a real person.
I would people are going to laugh at this. I would like to meet Jim Ryan, but I would shake his hand and I'd be thinking, I wouldn't say this, but I'd be thinking, thank you so much for making so much money for PlayStation. Now, if I shook Sean Layden's hand, it'd be like, thank you so much for all you've done. Like he was about bringing down the walled garden and bringing experiences, and Jim Ryan's the numbers guy. Whatever. Like, but I mean, I wouldn't snuff Jim Ryan like I did Jason Schreier.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a whole other thing. But I don't even think that guy would stop to talk to me anyway. Anyways, that's besides the point.
I would pay to see Jason Ryan or Jason Schreier talk to you. That would be entertainment for me to watch you squirm. Let me read some supers before we get into the next thing. Biff Rinaldi said, hey, I can't watch live, but have a great show. Thank you, Biff Rinaldi. Nicholas Branch, thank you for 2, says, yo, Colt Mag, love the dynamic. Thank you. Sometimes we're like, Mag, do we know what we're doing?
No.
Do we? Okay, we don't. Okay, Hargy Johnny with the $2. So let's face it, Mag is paid by Xbox to help Colt. They would not pay him very much.
It's obvious.
It is obvious.
Kyle W., I haven't even started yelling yet. So you know what? You want me to chill on the mic volume? It's not going to happen. It's
wait. Hold on. Our levels should be identical because I actually say something, Mag.
It wasn't that. I think it's because it's because I yelled. I yelled about Jim Ryan doing not being in person like he always does pre-recorded videos.
Yeah, it's like I was actually sweating before the show because I went back and listened to the show and my volume was so low that I think people were turning it up and down between when we were talking. So, I'm a man of the people. Like, I want you guys to enjoy the show. Spartan661 says, Colt, drink the zero sugar Mountain Dew. I can't do it. Parched. He says it's great for us gray beards that ain't gray yet. Try not to get diabetes and stay fit. It's important to us gamers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now he makes me feel bad. Spartan, I will do my best. Risk It for the Biscuit put out a great video, I think yesterday.
Oh. Is that even possible?
He covered this.
Carry on.
He covered this David Jaffe thing, and he played some of the clips and kind of broke it down. And it's because of Risk It's video, go check it out, that I kind of got a better understanding of what David Jaffe said in the video because Risk It walked me through it, which is kind of cool. And Risk It was pretty darn respectful, actually. Not actually. I mean, typically when someone uses someone else's video, they just trash them the whole time. Risk It was pretty respectful the whole way through. Spitfire Spud, thank you so much for the €10. He says, roll on XNC. Finally get to watch live 1 a.m. out. So if Judge Corley's decision goes Microsoft's way, what dormant IPs are you hoping make a return? He says, I want Prototype and True Crime to come back. True Crime turned into Sleeping Dogs. I would also want Prototype. Meg, is there any franchise you'd want to see come back that comes to mind?
What, from ABK?
From ABK, like anything.
Well, I mean, I want like a proper from the ground. Like, I mean, I know they did part 1 and 2, but I want to see a continuation of like the Tony Hawk series, but not when they started like getting off into that weird stuff. By the way, Igor Lopez, he goes, "Was there a verdict on the acquisition?" Yes. Colt and I got ABK. Microsoft was denied, so we now own it for nothing because of all the shilling we've done for Xbox and for ABK and everything else. So now we own it. So we're talking about the IPs that we're going to bring back. Anyways,
Right.
I loved like when Tony Hawk was starting to hit like that 360 era, when we're talking like the Project 8, Tony Hawk's Underground, stuff like that. Bring them into like that whole next generation vibe with like an open world. You could skate over here, and then you could go to different parks over there, do all that kind of stuff. I adored that. I liked the semi-open world, and then when you got into a park, then it turned into like, you know, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, like that kind of thing.
I missed that one then.
Okay, dude. I mean, it's not worth playing now because you know,
when
you look back, it'll feel old, and you know how it is when you look back.
I mean, the remaster. You're right. The remaster held up really well, and I think it sold really well. I just wonder. The problem with Tony Hawk is they've tried different ways to bring it back. They even did like the motion controller board, and everything they tried just fell on its face. No pun intended for skateboarders.
I know. But
sucks.
It was silly. But you know what? If you look, go just check it out on YouTube for like 5 minutes. Tony Hawk's Project 8. It was like literally like an open world Tony Hawk. And then when you got to an area, then it turned into the, okay, now I'm in the schoolyard. Now I'm in the whatever. Now I'm in the construction zone, whatever. And it was pretty cool, and I really liked it. I see a lot of people in the chat. I've had some talks with people talking about it. Guitar Hero. Not Rock Band, because it was way too much. Way too many peripherals. It was too ridiculous. Bring back Guitar Hero, and you know, it'd be really fun. I know that Xbox doesn't have. I mean, you could do it for PC, and maybe you can even do it for PSVR too, because Xbox clearly doesn't have the VR. How amazing! Now, hear me out. I was talking about this with one of the guys at work. How amazing would it be to play Guitar Hero with VR? Okay, in a stadium with 80,000 screaming fans, and you're on the stage.
They kind of did that with the resurgence of Rock Band. I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah. But I'm talking full next gen. Let's go.
Here's the problem with Rock Band. I think Mad Catz like broke even on those controllers they sold. Like they were too expensive to make, and they sold so many of them, but they weren't making money off of the controllers. They had made more money off the game, and they made a bunch of money off the songs, but that whole thing just imploded. And man, I loved it. I owned all of the Guitar Hero band ones and the Rock Band stuff, and we still bring it out when we can. It's it was awesome. I loved it. It was a great time. But like I said, remember all the wires like setting up Rock Band? Holy mackerel, that was a disaster. It was like wires and everything. You're plugging we were lucky to. We had the wireless stuff, but the mics, we had 2 mics running in, and one of the little kids would trip over it, pull the 360 onto the ground. 360, of course, would break the hardwood floor. Kevin Malone has been a member for 6 months, says, "Hey, guys, great show as always, thumbs up." Yes, please. We don't have the decision yet. It could literally roll in. I've got Tom Warren on speed dial over here. He's going to update as soon as something comes in, but the decision for ABK could literally come in at any moment. But the very latest, if you're on the West Coast, it is 5:30 right now. So in the next 4 hours, it could drop in, or it could drop in any moment. So we are keeping a close eye, and we're going to talk about what if or what not, and why this cycle is coming in right now, why we haven't heard. I've got information on that as well. What was I trying to read? Yes. So Hargeet Chani, thank you so much for the super. He says, Smeagol. Aaron is my friend, Precious. I can't do an impression of Smeagol. He says, Aaron is my friend, Precious. Yes, friend. No, Precious, he's not. He's tricksy, false. We can't trust him. He'll betray us. My friend used to do that so well. Yeah, no, Aaron's a really super cool guy, and I told that story last week, how I just waved him over. He had a coffee in his hand. He sat down in front of my wife's place setting for the picture with this, and then he got up, talked to us for a few more minutes, and left. Riskett talks about the story in his video as well. It's just so funny how people they want this conspiracy theory thing to be so true because, I don't understand. On PlayStation's side, they've had a pretty good year. Like Final Fantasy's a big deal, but I don't think maybe they're not playing it. I don't know. Sir X-Men with the $2 says, Mag, are you saying Jim Ryan is Max Headroom?
Yes, he is. And if anybody's old enough to remember who that is, yes, I'm pretty sure that that's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Or, like I said, he's an android created by Zuckerberg.
I think I did a Max Headroom last week, didn't I, on the show? Let me read some more super chats. That's great stuff. Oh, hey, shout out to 1,300 people who are here watching the show live. Thank you so much for being here. We're waiting just like you. I've chewed my fingernails down to the nubs all day. This is kind of embarrassing to say, but while I was sleeping last night, like I kept kind of going, did anything happen? And I woke up at 6 to feed my dogs, looked at my phone. No, nothing happened. Like I was just kind of obsessing about it. This is a huge deal. I'll tell you how much this is a huge deal. My neighbor, who's about 20 years older than me or 15 years older than me, I went and talked to him out in the driveway and I said, hey, we need to go to lunch. He's been helping me a lot with my yard and pool. I said, hey, I need to take you to lunch, but I'm literally waiting on this really big thing for YouTube because he knows I do my YouTube channel. And he goes, what is it? I go, and how do you explain it like in an elevator, right? And I go, well, so Activision, the company that owns Call of Duty, they want Xbox to buy them. And he's like, whoa. And I go, yeah, it's a $70 billion merger. And it's gone all over the world through the regulatory bodies. It's been in the FTC in the court. And we've been following it. And he's like, whoa. And he was impressed. And I go, and I'm trying to cover, I'm literally waiting for the news. And once it breaks, I have to make a video. And then I could go to lunch with you. So we really appreciate you being here. We're going to keep this as fun as possible. It might be a shorter show, but I am totally predicting that Mag and I will do the show. The news will break during the show or right after, and I'm going to sit down and work for hours on a video, and I cannot wait. Oops. Let's see. Okay, let me put that back here. Okay. Nick W, one more. He says, thank you for the 5. He says, Tony Hawk Underground was excellent and needs to be brought back.
Yes, that's one of the ones I mentioned. Amazing game. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let me get back into this. So PlayStation fans are really on the offensive right now, or on the defensive, depending on how you want to look at it, Mag, because they think that Xbox is buying up the industry. They can't be stopped. They have big money. They're the big evil corporation who just gobbles up everything. And a good friend of ours, J-Rock, has been checking into a huge documentary about PlayStation. And Meg, I don't know if you know the history of PlayStation coming up, but back in the 90s, they bought the biggest video game publisher in the planet, which is Psygnosis, and they gobbled them up and they laid off a whole bunch of people. They've made big changes in the industry. At the time, it was just like this ABK thing. And they got in from the ground floor and just started killing off Sega. They started pushing on Nintendo. When Xbox came into the scene a few years later, they were immediately pushing pressure on them. And they've said that their business model is to kill their competition so that they can reign supreme. But PlayStation fans are saying Xbox is the evil one. One more piece of thing before I give it to Mag on to get your personal opinion. Mag, PlayStation has bought 17 of their 21 studios, on average buying a studio once per year if they spread it out equally across their 25-year history. And they are buying up nearly everything. What are your thoughts about evil PlayStation and how they need to go away? I'm just
listen. We've talked about this a few times where we've come to the conclusion that basically they're both doing the same thing. They just did it at different speeds. That's all it is. There's no difference. Sony did what they did to get where they were. Listen, they're all evil. At one point or another, you could call them all evil. They all try to crush each other, step on each other's throats. That's how these companies get to the size they get. You think they get there being nice? Do you think Amazon is there to be nice? You think Zuckerberg is there to be nice? Elon Musk, any of these guys? You think they make billions by being nice? No. They will step on 1,000 necks a day to get to where they are, right? And leave a pile of bodies behind. That is how it goes. Microsoft is no different. They did it in the 90s. They were ruthless. They were taken to court. They were brought in front of the Senate, for crying out loud. And that you had, what's his name, sitting up there saying, he had some valid points, though. He's talking about, he's like, does Coca-Cola, when they sell a case of 24 cans, do they have to put 6 Pepsis in there? You remember that? There was that whole thing that was saying it was unfair that everything had windows. Right, he had a point there. But the thing is, in order to get to that point, they had to crush the competition. And then what they did to try and be nice to get a little bit of the PR back, when Apple almost went under, Microsoft bailed them out, right? And then what did Apple do? Apple turned around and smoked them with like the iPhone and the
it's brutal. It is.
And the what's it called? What the hell is that thing called? Not the iPad. The iTunes and all that kind of stuff. The iPod. There you go. I couldn't remember the name of it because I haven't used it.
You had to have one. You had to have one.
Everybody had one, right? Yeah. So what do? Microsoft bails out Apple. Apple turns around and Roundhouse kicks them right to the face. Roundhouse, right? And so they you know what I mean? That's how these guys operate. They're all the same. There's no difference. Anybody says this one's bad, this one's good, you are so full of garbage. It's unbelievable. Look, you see there? See what I just put up on my screen? Poop. Okay, that's what I put up on the screen. You're all full of poop. Okay, that's all there is to it. But Sony's no different. Sony tried to bury all those companies. What do? They tried to do that to get the wasteland of dead bodies so that they could crawl up to the top of the hill and become the leader of the video game industry. They did the same thing and they left a wake of bodies behind them. Sega, one of them, right? Being the most notable, right? I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but they all do it in a different way. Now, Microsoft doesn't seem like they're not trying to kill Sony because it's not healthy to kill off the competition at this point. The point is that they're so big now. What you want to do is you want to have healthy competition, but you want the ecosystems to be all healthy because
and you definitely want
make money.
They definitely want Xbox to be healthy. And I got to say, like, my joking premise as I handed you the floor on this discussion, you know, I will never tell you that what PlayStation did from the beginning was evil. Like, I am with you, Mag. That's how you build business. And if I was going to go into a competing market, I would do something to have a leg up on all the competition. And if you had the money, you would. Here's the funny thing. PlayStation doesn't make games. Their studios do. Same thing with Xbox. And the difference being that Xbox is buying studios in the 9th inning. Like, they weren't able to do this before, and I talked about how Microsoft never really funded Xbox after the first Kinect kind of floundered its way out of popularity. So I'm with you, Mag. It is part of Skill at Will said, "Let us compete," which is an old joke we've said around here. Where you said it so great, Mag, because they're not trying to kill PlayStation because they've said multiple times if PlayStation is successful, so are we. And I truly believe that they believe that as well. And they're never going to be able to kill PlayStation. Like, they are the beast. There's no way. So there's no way or rhyme or reason to try and kill off PlayStation. The only thing that they want to do is be super competitive and be on a level playing field somehow. And they've done it with different. Yeah, I guess they've done it with Game Pass and putting their games everywhere.
All right. Now, here's the thing. This is what Sony doesn't like. Is that also at the same time here? Let me present you a quick scenario here. At least something that I used to deal with before I went corporate is like, let's say a restaurant. Okay, let's say I opened a restaurant on the corner. Okay, and there's 2 great restaurants across the street. That's the best thing that you could do. People say, "Oh, that's crazy. Why would you do that?" Why? Because all the people that are going to that restaurant, as long as I'm supplying a great product over in this one, they're going to one day, as they keep going to that same restaurant over and over and over, that popular restaurant, they're going to look across the way and go, "You know what? One night we're going to go check out that place." Right? Because you keep going to that one place, so you're drawing attention to the area. So you don't want to be the only restaurant on the block, because if you are, people get sick and tired of it. And then after about going 3-4 times in a row, you're going to be like, "You know what? Let's just go somewhere else." Right?
People don't get sick of PlayStation, though.
But that's where no, they don't. But I'm just using an analogy. But here's the thing, though. And now that's a healthy environment where you've got businesses all competing with each other. But you know what? In the end, they all win. It's like Las Vegas. Why does Las Vegas have 100 casinos all facing each other? They're all making money because they're all in the same area. And it's all basically divvying up at the end of the day. Everybody's moving money around, right? It's being circulated. It's moving around. Now, here's where Sony has an issue. The issue is instead of Sony having a restaurant, Microsoft having a restaurant across the street from each other, Microsoft has got their fingers in the pies in Sony's restaurant, because now that they're going to be purchasing these, with ABK, and then those games are still going to PlayStation. Those are now Xbox's games going into that restaurant. So if you have a baker in the Microsoft thing and he's got pies that he's sending over, he instead of the Sony guys making pies, the Xbox guy's making pie, and he's sending it and selling it in the PlayStation restaurant. And that's what they don't want, right? They want it to be neutral. They don't want to pay them, Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's neither here nor there because they really don't have much of a choice. But I'm saying that's the analogy that I'm trying to get across is that that's what they're trying to do, or that's what they're not happy about. They're not. I mean, when it comes to competition, of course, would they ever be able to stomp out Xbox? No. Would they want to? Some of them might feel that way, but I think they'd like to keep them under their thumb. I think Sony likes the fact that Microsoft is in third place. They like to keep them there, but they want to keep the ecosystem healthy enough to keep going for another generation. And I think that that's what they need at the end of the day. They don't want to be the only kings on. They don't want to be the only one on the block. Nintendo is off doing their own thing. They're like, they're like running an ice cream truck over in the next park or whatever. That's what Nintendo's doing. I'm talking specifically about Microsoft and Sony. So when I look at it from that aspect, right? They want Sony, they want Xbox, Microsoft, whatever, to stay at a very distant last place. But they want them still there so that there's still an ecosystem. You still got anywhere from 40 to 50 million consoles sold every gen, 60 million, whatever. You want to have 100 million people in the ecosystem, blah, 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 blah. But they don't want them anywhere near first place.
Okay.
And when you threaten the crown is going to start reacting. And that's a great thing for us, by the way. I know a lot of people think that that's silly and whatever. It's not. It's a great thing for us consumers. You know why? Because competition breeds excellence. And what ends up happening is that now Sony's going to have to go over to their studios and be like, all right, boys and girls, let's get some serious games out here and let's get them going because those guys are doing this, and this. And now Sony's not going to feel as complacent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's
great for everybody.
I think that it breeds, the competition breeds excellence, like you said. And you know this as well, that it also breeds competitive pricing. And I think if PlayStation was allowed to carry forward as the number one de facto place to play, we would, they were one of the major publishing arms to raise prices to 70 next to two of the biggest publishing arms in gaming. And they raised their prices on console first, even though they were making a profit and Xbox wasn't. So, it's like Xbox kept their prices as low as they could because they were competing for your dollar. It's not just competing against each other, it's competing for a customer and competing for the dollar. Your audio is loud. I'm continually trying to get my audio. Let's see. Check. Tell me it's exactly the same. I will keep adjusting it. Let me read this.
Fine to me.
You and I were within Discord, but I don't know. It just happens. I've got $7,000 worth of audio equipment. It's all down to just like one slider. Anyway, J Dubes sends a super chat. It's so funny that he says this when I see the name. He doesn't even have to say anything. He says, doubt you remember me from the Gamefly days. I've been watching your show lately and just want to say congrats on the success. Xbox is number one this gen. Now, J Dubes is a friend of mine from 2011 to 2015. We were on the Gamefly app. We were on Kick groups together with a bunch of other people talking gaming every day, all night, in the middle of the night. And we've been around for a long time now. He's a big PlayStation fan, also a big gaming fan on PC. And we haven't talked in a long time, so it's really cool to see him here. And when he says Xbox is number one this gen, I'm like, because we used to always argue about who was better, Xbox or PlayStation. And I don't think I think he's just being gracious because he can see that Xbox is doing cool things, but he's also still a fan of where he plays his games. But I don't know. Let me know, J Dubes. It's been a while. He knows that I was ride or die Xbox back then. We're talking like early Xbox One era when everyone said Xbox sucks. So yeah, that's really cool to see him here. That really means a lot. Okay, let me. That's a good thing. So the whole thing that Mag and I were talking about was how PlayStation has this long history of buying their way into the industry, and we've kind of banged that drum for a long time, right, Mag? About how everybody is buying their way in, and like I said, just to bookend it, studios make the games, not the platforms. So I don't know.
Well, everybody buys into everything. Like when the Blue Jays in 92, 93 won the World Series, they bought the best players in the league to win the World Series. They had the highest salary cap and whatever. And they did. Then what happened after the Blue Jays? Then the Yankees went on a tear. And the Yankees, what do they have? The highest salary cap in all the MLB. And guess what? They won a bunch of World Series. And then the Boston Red Sox did it. Guess what? They bought all the best players and they won. It's the same thing everywhere you go. You buy you buy your way to the top. And yes, obviously talent has a lot to do with it. But I mean, the thing is that in order to get that talent, in order to get those things, you have to spend the money. So it's the same thing everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter whether it's gaming, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever, restaurants, whether it's, I don't know, whatever. Okay? It's all these different things. You can have a lawn mowing business. It's the same thing. You buy the best talent, you buy all the best machines in town. Right? And so like it's all the same.
Let's talk about organic for a minute. And shout out to 1,600 people watching. This is a high number for Mag and I for a while, but thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Hit the like button. Let's get that up to 500 likes. The organic thing is what people have a problem with, Mag, because let's just kind of rewind it back to the 90s when PlayStation came in. They bought their way into the industry and continually kept up a cadence of buying talent, which you and I already established is totally normal and it's not evil. The problem with Xbox, when you take a step back and look and say they bought a bunch of talent in the early 2000s and then they stopped for about 8 years. And now they're on this huge buying spree playing catch up. And it does look inherently evil or it looks greedy. But when you look at the size of Xbox, it's so funny. I take you back to the conversation in my driveway with my neighbor about an hour ago. And he goes, Call of Duty, Call of Duty built its name on PlayStation. And I went,
no, it didn't.
I'm thinking in my mind, but I'm not about to have an argument with him in the driveway about where Call of Duty built its name on, but I'm like, did it? I mean, I know sometimes you can get 80% console sales on Call of Duty on PlayStation, but I don't, that name is synonymous with me about Call of Duty. In fact, Call of Duty was pretty big on on Xbox Live for a while, but I'm like, that doesn't matter, right? And it's one of those things. Hargeet's in the chat. Shout out to him. He's never on social media. If I was on social media, I'd be like, actually, but the point being that Xbox has, if you're looking at a graph, there's this huge dip where they weren't investing, and now this huge spike that goes over their past, and it does look inherently greedy. But the whole organic thing, Mag, I think is a stupid concept that because everybody Xbox has bought so far, they've partnered with them, marketing deals, helped them out. They've had some exclusives here or there, and PlayStation the same thing. They're just as organic as Xbox. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's the thing is, again, because Sony did what they did in a slow. I mean, at beginning, I'm gonna ignore the startup. We already talked about when Sony started up and they ramped things up because listen, if you want to get your foot in the door, you can't get your foot in the door. You got to kick the door down, right? That's the only way that you can plant your flag, right? You can't start up there and be like all gentle and nice and and I hate to say it, but the kumbaya stuff, it's not working, right? But here's the thing.
Right.
They did the same thing. The only difference is that they did not have the capital to be able to purchase what Microsoft is able to purchase now because the CEO of Microsoft is now officially behind Xbox. And therefore, there's a lot more money at play. Whereas you look at last gen, what's his face over there before Satya there was not interested in Xbox, didn't want to give the funding to Xbox. They had 2 studios and and a pet dog and a gerbil in the corner. You know what I mean? It was...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They were selling lemonade in front of the building to try and drum up some funds for the next Halo. But that, this is what they had last year because they didn't have any funding for it. But now that they got the funding for it, now what they're doing is they're just playing catch up. Okay, they're playing catch up. So it looks nefarious, it looks egregious, but in fact, it's pretty damn even when you look at it at the end of the day. The only difference is that, and you've mentioned it before, is that they're just doing it all at once. And they're basically, in order to play catch up, it's okay, here's another example. I'll give you another analogy for people. It's like a 25-year-old going to university. Okay? They were farting around for the 4 or 5 years, getting drunk and high with their friends, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm throwing away my life. I'm going to go back to university and go get a career. What do? If they take it seriously and they're 25 years old and the rest of your classmates are 18, right? Presumably, that person's going to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to make sure that they get that degree so they don't throw their life in the garbage or whatever, right? So, I've seen that countless times when I've seen older students who really, and you watch, they push hard because it's the same idea. You're playing catch up because now time is not on your side, right? So now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get yourself on an even playing field, and we're like, all right, let's party. Now that you've got X amount of studios, we're about to have X amount of studios. Let's go. Let's, you know what I mean? Drop the gloves. Let's play.
Xbox needs the franchises. They need the consistency of games coming through. And now I want to talk about.
Well, That's a thing. That's a thing. Sorry.
It is a thing. And I want to talk about this. Yeah. Everybody says, they're taking away games from gamers. And I want to talk about Bethesda and ZeniMax. Because Phil has said through this FTC hearing that their games will remain exclusive to the Xbox platform and ecosystem. And so what other fans might be worried about is I'm going to lose out on Bethesda and ZeniMax games because Xbox now owns them. And we have to look in the future. Elder Scrolls is coming out in 5 years, according to Phil Spencer. Fallout's coming out in 8 to 10 years if they overlap. I say probably 8 something. And we've talked about this thing with ABK where Call of Duty will stay on PlayStation for the next 10 years. And I bet you at the end of the 10 years, Xbox signs another agreement with PlayStation Nintendo because they're making tons of money. Right?
Of course.
You agree?
Yeah.
And then Overwatch, we talked about this last week. Overwatch 3 ain't happening. Like Overwatch 2 is kind of a mistake. Like they're just holding on to that. And I think Diablo's in 10 years. Diablo 5. Where are we at? Yeah, we're at Diablo 5 would be in 10 years. So if you're an ABK fan, or if you're an Xbox fan, let's talk about Xbox fans. We talked about PlayStation for about 30 minutes. If you're an Xbox fan, if this preliminary injunction is granted and Xbox cannot buy ABK, which will be the reality tonight, if the judge says, I'm granting the preliminary injunction, Xbox can go through an appeal process. But as far as we've heard, Microsoft will just pay the $3 billion to ABK and walk and stop wasting any more time and money. So what does this mean for Xbox fans? The biggest thing it means, I said last week, the biggest is that Xbox won't have this big influx of money coming in through first party because all the stuff Mag and I just talked about. But the other kicker is that we won't get a library of ABK games that come to Game Pass from the past and in the future on the cheap. And is that a big deal, Mag? If it loses?
Well, the thing is, if they lose, per se, okay, I still think that there's enough goodwill between the two companies that regardless of what happens and the fact that Microsoft has to pay them $3 billion, you could bet your bottom dollar, no pun intended, that I bet you a lot of those games, back catalog games, future, marketing deals and everything are all going to be on Xbox no matter what. So I think that in a different way, in a roundabout way, that I think that Microsoft is still going to get a lot of the ABK backlog on Game Pass. I think that's going to happen, regardless of whether the deal goes through or not. Because, like I said, I still think so. I think that there's enough goodwill there. Well, they're still dishing out $3 billion to them, and I think with that $3 billion, that's enough goodwill to say, listen, if this thing doesn't go through,
it's a failure fee. But I never thought of that, Mag.
But what if they say to him and say, listen, we'll give you another $1 billion on top of it, but we want the marketing rights for the next 5 years?
I mean, are they allowed, or is this like legal fee, like a citation? I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
We
how
should have done our homework
on
that.
I'm just I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just speculating. What if you just did that? What if they just okay?
I'm a chef, dang you, not a lawyer.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if you get the $3 billion in there, you tack on another $1 billion. Say, listen, we'll give you 4, but we want Call of Duty for the next 5 years.
That is a lot of money.
I'm telling you, there's a contingency plan in place.
Let's talk about that contingency plan, Mag, because
100%, 100%, they've got something already in the works.
We're literally sitting on the edge of the knife, whether this thing happens or not. And what is that contingency plan? Let's see. Calorie says Xbox doesn't know the verdict right now. That would be an insider trading thing. I think Judge Corley has given them the answer this at the end of the week, and they had. Let me see if I don't think I wrote that down. The deal must close. Okay, well, this was on our topics list. So remind me to go back to this contingency plan thing in just a moment, okay, Mag? Mm-hmm. Here's what we were told. The deal must close by July 18th, which is in 5 or 6 days from now. This means if you are in the United States, the deal must close, or the deal must be finalized where it sits, either blocked or passed. It must finalize by midnight on the West Coast, which is in 6 hours from now.
Right.
6 hours from now, no matter where you're watching, and I know, right in the chat, actually, where you're watching the show from. I know we have people from Australia here, some from Brazil, some from outside of the U.S. or North America. If you're over on the other side, there are some people who are up late, like we read, if it's like almost 2 a.m. for them. The the deal will end in exactly 6 hours is when we have to hear the deadline, unless Judge Corley or the FTC or Xbox has asked for an extension. But I don't think so, because they have to get this deal finalized with 5 business days to spare on July 18th, which is, I should have wrote that. I think it's Tuesday.
No, it's next
Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday.
I wrote it down here. So here's the quote. The deal must close by midnight, July 18th, which is tomorrow. The deal must close. I wrote that wrong. Deal must close midnight. So the deal must close by July 18th, which means it must close by tonight at midnight, so that they have 5 business days. Normally, this process takes 3 to 4 weeks. Stop for a moment, and I'll add into my editorial. Normally, this process takes about 3 to 4 weeks, meaning this whole process of the FTC hearing, trying to get a preliminary injunction granted, and a decision from the federal judge. But they fast-tracked this to just about 2 weeks. Continuing on, it says, Judge Corley said she wanted to give enough time for both parties to appeal before the 18th. Technically, we could see the decision by midnight, or it could happen tonight, like I said, during the show. And I'm continually refreshing my best sources that would announce this as soon as possible.
Yep.
So that's where we are. It's like really tense right now. But the reason why I brought that up is, who was it that said this? I'll never be able to find it. I already mentioned your name, but yes, Xbox, Microsoft, and the FTC have already been given the decision. They're taking the time over the weekend and today to iron out all redacted discovery paperwork. Like, they have to go through all the stuff that says this is why we're blocking it, or this is why we're passing it. And whatever that docket of information is has to be combed over through the respective party, being Microsoft or FTC, to make sure everything is redacted that is not supposed to be public information. That's why they just didn't close the hearing a few days ago and say, all right, here's the answer. There's a lot of red tape that's going on, and that's why we're sitting here right now wondering where it is. How's that, Mags? Is that going to work?
That pretty much sums it up, so I'm not going to add to it. However, I will say one thing, and I've been, while you were speaking, I was looking down at the chat, and I was looking at where everybody was saying where they're from. Did you see that, Cole? Did you happen to see that script scanning by as everybody? If you scroll back like 2 or 3 minutes,
Florida,
you'll see all the different
Portugal,
like all the different countries in the world, everywhere. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me. If you go back even further, Cole, you keep going, you see all the different countries of the world.
The Marianas Islands of Guamju. I don't know where that is.
We got Mexico, Philippines. Awesome. We got Guam, Brazil, New Zealand, Scotland, South Carolina. I'm going to be in North Carolina actually not that long from now.
I'm sorry, Mag. I didn't mean. Here, let me put a mark for interrupting you. Is Marianas Islands of Guamju supposed to be in Guam? I'll look it up real quick. My friend was born there.
Shout out to the Netherlands. Love the Netherlands. South Korea. This is amazing. See, this is the England, Chicago. Go say hi to Rand. Or you know what? Toilet paper the front of his house. Just like there's a tree in the front. Yeah, I know because I've been watching. Dominican Republic. There you go. Trinidad. Beautiful. Actually,
that is Scotland. That is so cool. UK, Greece. Morocco.
Yeah. Oh,
Morocco.
Yeah.
No way. That is so. Do you know how much of an honor that is for Mag and I?
Yeah, no, dude, it's huge. Morocco, like I said. Oh, by the way, I have 3 coworkers that are Trinidadian, so it's kind of funny.
Germany.
You mentioned that. Now, here's the thing. It is heartwarming to me to see that people from all over the world are listening to what we have to say. Like smart things, stupid things, whatever. Actually, I have a lot of Filipinos that work with me too. So it's amazing to me. It blows my mind. Like, I never would have thought, 3 years ago when I started this journey, who the hell knew that literally the entire world would be listening to us talking. It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. I just want to thank every last one of you. Yeah. Every last one of you. I want to thank every last one of you from every country in the world listening to this show. And it just blows my mind, and it just it makes my heart melt, man. It just
I copy that big time. And I wish I could, give me just a second. Rob from Soviet Russia. We've got Ellipticos 66 from Greece. He's got a Greece name in there as well. Johnny from Melbourne. Loops from Antarctica. I don't know if he's just saying that. Somebody said they're from Uranus. No, but we've got where is it? We got Cyber from England. Of course, there's people from around the U.S., Kentucky, North Carolina, North Georgia, Trigger Happy from Sydney, Australia. There's some interesting, Giggity says from Uranus, Sathos says from Mars. Where was a couple more? Kowalski from Poland. That is so incredible. Sapphire King from Puerto Rico. Thank you so much. We don't want to waste your time reading that, but if we do take a second to read it, I hope it means as much to you as it means to us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you guys. Sydney, Australia, from Missouri, New York.
My Canadian brothers and sisters, I see you all out there, Quebec and everywhere else. I see you guys and obviously Ontario. But yeah, it's a Carolina gamer. You had to do it. He's from Wakanda.
It's
someone else put
that's
someone
amazing.
Put North Pole. I'm like, Santa's listening.
I mean, this
amazing.
whole Santa, he's like ho 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 ho.
Yeah. You'll shoot your
it is
eye
amazing.
Out, kid.
It's amazing because this ABK deal does really affect everybody in the world. And if you're listening to the show, it's because this deal is going to save you some money down the road, or it's going to make you spend even more on games that you're just getting into. Yeah, and shout out, we had 1,700 people watching a moment ago, but thank you so much. Holy smokes. Let me read a couple supers before I move on. Hargeet Johnny, thank you for the 5. Says, PlayStation is so afraid of ABK, they announced Fair Games, Helldivers, Concord, and Marathon all in one show. And he says, and let's not forget the game of the year, Foam Stars. And I can literally hear Hargeet's laugh when he wrote that.
I was going to say that, yeah.
You could hear it too, right, Meg? His little devilish laugh.
A little laugh, and then he's got the giant jug of vodka that he drinks on every show. He's so mad when I say that.
Knowing Hargeet, it's either a jug of ice water or some disgusting diet soda that he drinks. But I say that because
can you imagine it was a protein shake, and then all of a sudden, in like a month, he's like the size of the Incredible Hulk? Yeah, he's just drinking this giant protein shake.
He's like, ho, ho. No, do people on steroids say ho, ho, ho when they're in the gym? I'll have to check that into that. Gamer by Choice with a $5 says, I keep hearing Xbox will never do better than Sony, but we do not know what will happen in the future. I bet people said Atari would never be beat. Also, they probably did say Atari would be at the top. I mean, there are a lot of things that Xbox does better than PlayStation does, but not everything. And, there's like that one subset of games they need to nail, and we've yet to see it, but we will. We will. Joe Roberts, thank you so much for the 5. He says, a lady from Activision was making it seem as if the deal was done and everything was good. He's probably talking about Lulu, who I think they're really positive and they're really confident. And the chat is as well, because I think 93% of you voted that you think this thing's going to pass. But Jez Corden from Windows Central and Xbox 2, he has a podcast with some guy. I don't remember his name. But
I don't remember his name either. Yeah.
Jez is like really pessimistic about it because he doesn't want all the fans to be let down, and you never know what could happen. Spartan661 with a $5 says, my third PS2 died 3 months after we bought it. I threw that thing in the fire, so mad, and I bought an Xbox and never looked back. Hard drive and Halo. And that's when he became a total Xbot and hated PlayStation forever. No, I'm just kidding.
Shill.
I'm trying to think. Back in the 90s, I had several Sony brand CD players just crap out on me. And I told myself, long before there was a PlayStation, I'll never trust the laser system in a Sony device ever again. And I stopped buying them. But, that's not why I have an Xbox. Trell Roberts says, we listen because you all are awesome. Thank you so much, Trell, for being here. And again, thank you, everybody across the world.
Amazing.
Meg's loving it, and I love it too.
I love it, man. I love it. I think it's what people say, oh, Meg, you need to monetize this and monetize that and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't. Because when I go to sleep, I know that it's enough for me that people all over the world love my like when I'm doing shows here, or when I'm doing shows with Boom, or when I'm releasing my videos or whatever I do, that people all over the world are liking what I'm doing. That's all that. Or hey, it doesn't matter. You're still watching it. The point is, I've reached like my grasp across the entire planet, and that's enough for me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about anything else. It's just the fact
if you're
that
a creator,
yeah. No. That was it. I was done.
No, if you're a creator, and it could be anything. If you build, bake, craft, record, write, draw, anything. Like if you're a creator that makes stuff for people's eyes to see and admire, and there's so many things people do. If you're one of those people, you understand what it means when you've got people around the state or around the world who check out what you do. We totally appreciate it. The guy J Dubes who was in the chat, like when he knew me back in 2011, I was just a guy on a forum, and I remember some of our mutual friends would tell me, Colt, stop trying to make videos. You'll never go anywhere. And look at me. I'm here with Mag, a guy from Canada. I've made it. I'm like at the top of the world. No, I love it. I appreciate it. Let me see. One more. Bounce Tuna with the freaking great name. Thank you for the 5. He says, send California, USA, baby. Canada is out. Soccer. He's talking about a soccer thing. I don't know, but maybe okay. Mag does.
It's okay. When Canada loses, I go to my default Italy, right? So that's how I work. And then when they're out, then I just casually watch in the corner and cry.
Chad, do you ever do that when something goes wrong? Do I say, well, at least I still have my dog? I've always been like that my whole life. It's like, oh, like if ABK like completely fails, I'll say, well, at least I still have my family, I guess.
Noob Cybot. He said, so because just world influence and domination. That's all I want. He put in quotes. He said it's what I said.
I don't ask for much. Just world influence and domination. So let me give you guys a little light at the end of the tunnel. Lena Khan was the one whose team spearheaded this. We're going to stop Microsoft from buying the world. Right now, she is under. Oh, shout out to Gaming Forte for showing up in the chat. I love that guy. He is so awesome. He says, Colt, tell me thank you in Swahili. Appreciate you. I don't know Swahili, but I love Gaming Forte. He's incredibly amazing. Oh, his heart is like this big. I miss talking to him. Ah, dang it. Last time I think we hung out was when Fortnite Season 5 came out. That's far too long. Okay, Lena Khan is under fire right now. So this is a nice light at the end of the tunnel because people are starting to take notice that the FTC has had a skewed take on Microsoft and consumers. Listen to this. Lena Khan's policies, this is from an article I read today from, I don't have it up. I'm so sorry. I thought I grabbed it. Lena Khan's policies hurt our checkbooks, our pocketbooks. Before her tenure at the FTC, she became famous for writing a paper where she complained that Amazon's prices were too low. The anti-consumer approach seems to have carried over to her tenure at the FTC. So now she is under fire from Congress withholding information and documentation that they have asked her to reveal in these different proceedings she's been going through, and she's been holding pretty strong and being not very. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like a government. I don't know all this stuff, but she's been holding information from the Congress, and they've been on her case, which is not a good look when the FTC is in the middle of a huge legal battle with one of the biggest tech companies in the world. Yes, Kyril 1217 says that she's in danger of being held in contempt if she doesn't deliver these documents. So something damaging, or I don't know, Mag, what do you know about this? Have you looked into it, or first time hearing it?
I knew about it. I knew about it this morning. But the thing is, at this point, it's not going to affect the outcome of ABK because the ABK outcome has already been decided. This is just a smear. This is just a smear on the character of the person that they're dealing with. Now, the thing is, like I said, it will not affect the decision. By the way, Forte, Asante Sana. Anybody knows that Swahili thank you is Asante, like my dear friend K Asante. Go follow K Asante, by the way. Check out his YouTube channel and us on Primetime Gaming on Wednesdays. Anyways, back to the show.
After these messages, we'll ride back.
Exactly. Yep. Here's the thing, is that there's nothing they could do at this point. So people are bringing it up. It's interesting, but at this point, it's a non-story because the decision's been made already, right? So it just shows you, another angle of the kind of character you're dealing with and the kind of, the way that they're operating. Obviously, the heat's on with the FTC, but this is not going to... Now, actually, I'm going to take that back. This will have an effect because if Microsoft attempts to make another merger later on in the future, they could be facing the same people again. And if their character has already been smeared and their actions have already been held in contempt, this could be an issue for them going forward, where it does challenge their leadership, the leadership of the FTC. And you see that that's already happening. The Republicans are starting to, you know what I mean? They're starting to bear down on them with what's going on. They're appointing people now into the position, right? Because remember, both Republicans left. Right. So
yeah.
This could have an effect down the road, assuming that they're still there. But I would say that at some point, if this continues, there's going to be a vote of no confidence for Lena Khan in the position that she's in. They're going to remove her. I already said that to Boom anyway. I said that to him like 6 months ago. I said she won't even last the year. But hey, and you know what? She's proven the mag red. I wish there was some odds in Vegas. I could have thrown some dollars down. But anyways, that's not the case. But the point is that there's nothing that would affect this case, but it could have an effect in the future, especially like I said, when it deals with their public face moving forward. So who knows? Man, it's an interesting little story though. Right? And
yeah,
it shows, I mean, they're all scumbags. They're all scumbags at the end of the day. Politicians, I don't care who you are. They're all scumbags. Okay? So
yeah, I mean, it does
shady crap.
It does completely. I mean, we kind of brought it up like a political discussion, but really you should be bouncing all of this past into what is their approach to Xbox when I ask a simple question like, how does Xbox owning Activision, Blizzard, and King harm competition? And really, as fans or as people who talk about this stuff or content creators, we should be asking ourselves, how could Xbox ruin competition or make it anti-competitive or anti-consumer? And that we have to break it down to Xbox allows their games on most of their devices, on most every device under their ecosystem. Game Pass and the way you can buy their consoles is the most value-driven thing. And they're not doing it because they're friends. They're not doing it because they're friends with us. Xbox says, hey, we can provide a value and an alluring business or a alluring consumer option for customers. And they'll like that and they'll pay money for us and they'll make money for us. So we're not blind. Well, I want to say it over and over. Xbox is not doing this buying ABK to be nice to us. They're doing it because they can provide a lot of stuff to us that makes us want to go, I want to crack my wallet and I want to buy these or I want to subscribe to this.
It's money. They're here to make money. They're not here to buy you breakfast.
Now, what's evil about playing the devil's advocate? What's evil about Xbox owning ABK? Can you come up with any viable and chat, help us out? Like, what could possibly be construed as evil for them owning one of the biggest publishers among, I would say they're one of the biggest among like the top 10 publishers, ABK.
You know what the thing is, Colt? I don't think it's that it's making being part of the merger. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out. Purchasing ABK is not inherently evil. I think that what some people are getting at, which I don't think they're portraying properly, or they're at least they're not explaining themselves properly. I think that there's the option of being evil down the road. And I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not defending either way. I'm just presenting what I think other people are talking about. Like, for example, people say, okay, well, purchasing the company is not inherently evil. All right, you just purchase the company. That's fine. You said everything's going. What if? And I think there's a lot of what ifs out there, and that's where a lot of people get into that. I don't want to say conspiracy because a lot of that stuff is just But what I do want to say is that people could say, well, what if they got him? And then all of a sudden they just shut it all down and just say, forget it. You get nothing. You did, which is irrational and ridiculous.
I mean,
but I'm just saying,
come up with something that actually would work. Like them shutting it down with them closing off a money pipeline. But you're getting there.
It's not me saying this, by the way, Chad. Don't think, don't think it's like, Mag, you idiot. It's not me saying that.
These are some of the narratives you've heard online.
I listen to everybody's podcasts.
I have heard that. They'll just shut them all down like they do all their other studios.
Right. And it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Why would you turn away money? It doesn't make any sense. But there are people that have the irrational fear that they're going to purchase ABK, and now let's say you only are able to afford a PlayStation, okay? You bought the one console and that's all there is to it. You don't have the money to get into anything else, okay? I'm just saying, this is theoretical. That being the case, now what ends up happening is they're like, oh no, that's it. I'm never going to get to play Call of Duty. These are irrational fears. They have squashed those fears. They have openly spoken about it multiple times that they say we're not removing anything from anywhere. Now, the only thing that doesn't help is that when you look at some of the Bethesda stuff, especially that came out in court, like Indy Jones and things like that, which presumably would have been multiplat at one point, right? And all of a sudden now they're exclusive, right? So now people are using that as a weapon and saying, you see, they did it right there with Indy, and now they're going to do it with ABK. But I mean, the other thing is too, then there's the part, let's just say for argument's sake, they closed off, I don't know, 30% of the products and they end up being exclusive on Xbox. 30% out of the 100% of ABK output of games. Let's say they close off 30% and make it exclusive. What is stopping you from being able to play that 30% on your tablet or on your smart TV or on your phone or
Call of Duty goes to the next Nintendo console, which is the reality. Yeah.
Right. And actually, that opens the door because Nintendo players right now are not playing Call of Duty on Nintendo, on the Switch, right? So the fact that now you're getting it, so you're actually helping people out, right? So, but the thing is, let's say that 30%, which are going to be, they're not going to be like Call of Duty's not going to go exclusive or anything like that. So you're talking about those other games, whatever that other 30% I'm talking about, you'll be able to play those on anything as long as you buy a controller and you pay for Game Pass for a month. Big deal.
I get that. And I get that. And like the Infinity Ward's working on a new IP. Excuse me, Blizzard's working on a new IP that would be probably exclusive. So that could be construed as evil because they're taking away games that PlayStation fans or PlayStation only fans would have access to on their PS5 because now that game's exclusive because Xbox bought them. The other evil thing that I hear a lot that actually is more prevalent is that Xbox buys ABK and then raises the price of Game Pass. Now, they did this already. They already raised Game Pass by $1 to $2 per month before ABK closed because they said they wouldn't. Microsoft already did an evil thing and raised prices. Risen? Is that the right word? Risen? That's the word. They already raised prices before they even were allowed to own ABK. So that in itself is evil. They also raised the price of consoles for Xbox everywhere in the world but in North America. So those are evil things. But you and I are asking, what other things could they do that are evil? Like raise their price of games again?
No,
to 80?
You know what they did when they raised the game price. When they raised the price of Game Pass, they did that preemptively so that they could say to the court, "Okay, we won't raise them for another 5 years. We promise." Because they've already done it, right? So they've already raised it now. So it was a preemptive sort of thing. By the way, Sour Blow, you say hi to Colt, you don't say hi to me? That's unbelievable. That's like going to a cocktail party, and you walk around with your martini. You see Colt and I standing there having a discussion, and you say hi to Colt, you walk away. Say hi to Mag sometime too, man.
Well, here's Mag's analogies. That's like coming to XNC chat and saying hi to Colt, not saying hi to me. I'm like, Mag, that's what he did. Yeah, but it's a good analogy, and I like it. Sour Blow, say hi to Mag now, please. I'm not going to ask nice again. No, we appreciate Sour Blow. I've been on shows with him as well. Good guy.
What's going on? But you know what, though? I'm not, risk it wherever you are in the chat. I know you're skulking around there somewhere.
His video is good, Mag.
I know.
Take it from me.
I watch stuff.
Hey.
I'm subscribed to him.
He shaved his beard off. Like,
I think it was because I was calling him Jack Black too much. I think he's getting into him.
I'll bet you anything. When he shaved that beard off, he turned around to get something, and he thought there was like a evil critter in his bathroom. Oh, that's my beard. I'm good.
He's like, oh, Mag's gonna make fun of me now.
Kangadoodles.
It's not gonna be fair dinkum, I'll tell you that. So,
Your Australian sounds like sounds like Jason Statham.
Dude, I've been talking for an hour and 25 minutes. I can't do the accents after that. Everything starts falling apart. But
you have to get into character, and I can't do it when we're in the middle of a show and someone's like, "Hey, read this in an accent." I'm like,
I can do it, but you have to catch me in the morning once I'm well rested again. Yeah, the voice is starting to go. Anyways, carry on.
Fantas Archer, thank you so much for the 5. Says, your opinion on what happens if the FTC wins, given the latest news on the Anaconda investigation. Wish we would have read that a minute ago, but Mag nailed it. Like, Anaconda's investigation has zero bearing on well, I mean, it wouldn't even if the decision wasn't already made. I think that's not even in the same realm. But the reason why we brought it up, right, Meg, is that it solidifies what we're already thinking, that the whole thing was in bad faith to begin with. So, Fantas Archer, thank you for that one. Matthew Barrios says, also known as Decatron, transform and roll out.
By the way, Rise of the Beasts was a great movie. I loved it.
I need to watch it. I heard it was awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It takes place in '94, so it's a sequel to Bumblebee. And it just, so you know how, like,
okay.
So you know how Bumblebee had all the 80s
I love
tunes
Bumblebee movie. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, say again.
So, 94. So now this takes place in 94, and all of the music is all 90s hip hop. So it literally, the opening credits is Wu-Tang Clan, and then it goes into like, yes, it goes into like Diggable Planets and Tribe Called Quest and all that cool stuff.
Oh,
it's
that's
all
great.
in there. And I was like, and even LL Cool J and all that all the music is awesome. But the movie's a lot of fun. Anyways, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm gonna go check it out. I asked my son, I'm like, you want to watch Transformers? He's like, not really. He's so honest. He's so honest with me.
It's a video on demand tomorrow.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah,
Matthew Barrios, or Decatron, says, thank you guys for what you do. Here's $5 because I love it. Also, I'm a little behind, but if Sarah Bond wants a photo, you do it. Haters be damned. Sarah Bond is incredibly awesome, and she's just a human being. And she's in a great position where she gets to work with amazing video game creators. So I have much respect for her. And I would guarantee you, Meg, if any of these guys were able to get next to some of the people that create games on whatever platform they love, they'd go, hey, here we go. Because I got a picture of Shu, and I shared that, and people were like, Ponybot confirmed.
Hey, man, I love Sarah Bond. I think she's a great person, and I have feelings that she's going to be the next CEO after Phil. So that's just me.
So there's a rumor that she's supposed to take over and fully manage ABK if they win the company.
That would make sense.
I don't believe that, but I don't know. Do you think it works?
Well, yeah, because what's his name there? The Wizard of Oz there is they're going to give him the golden parachute and throw him out the window. So he's going to be gone. So yeah, that would make sense that she would. You know, I think that's a preemptive stepping stone to what she's eventually going to be taking Phil's job when he retires. When he retires.
I think
Phil just spit out his coffee right now and go. He goes, when I retire.
I mean, Phil said he wants to launch one more console, so Phil's got another 5 years probably before he even wants to even think about leaving. And at that point,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying down the road. I'm not talking about like tomorrow. I'm talking about like 5 to 10 years from now. 100% she could be the CEO of gaming for Xbox. 100%. 100% I could see it. She's got that leadership. She's got it. You know it.
And she's really super funny. When we were talking to her at the mixer, my wife said, you're really good. She's like, you should take over Phil's job when he leaves. And I was like, oh my gosh, to my wife, I elbowed her, and Sarah goes, oh my gosh, will you tell Phil you said that? Will you tell Phil that for me? Will you put in a good word? We were laughing so hard. Like, she took it in stride. She's so funny. But I think there's a part of her is like, am I going to make it in this crazy industry? She's a really good person, but they're real normal people. I'm glad we've been able to meet them. So
she's got leadership qualities.
She does.
I said at the Boom, we were talking about her, and I said, listen, if she was working for my company, I would 100% put her in the position of power, because I can spot these people from a mile away. All right. I can spot people that have that leadership, that have that, you know what I mean? That people will follow this person. I say, you know what, this one. And that's why I handpick all my people, right? I handpick all of them. 100% I put her in charge. And I
you can tell.
Without even thinking about it. You can just tell. So anyways, carry on.
I actually like that, because I am not one of those type of people. And I've been in my jobs where I look at someone, I'm like, that guy is totally going to be a manager. Like my peers that I work with. So I can just tell, because they're by the book. There's just like something about, I also wonder in my job, like, why am I not a manager? Oh, that's right. Cause I crack jokes in their meeting, or, I'm not a good person. I don't know. I'm asking the chat right now. Are you a console warrior? Be honest. And I don't mean like die hard. Like, if you're not with me, you're against me, but do you find yourself in arguments online? Do you find yourself defending your platform whenever anybody says something that you know is wrong? I'm a classic Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future 2 and 3, where he's like, nobody calls me chicken. Nobody needles. And I'm like that, like, nobody says something wrong about Xbox when I have the right answer right here. And I'll attack that. But I want to ask you, Mag, on the last thing here is if ABK passes, if Xbox owns them, is the console war going to go nuclear this week? What do you expect?
I 100% it will. It's going to get real quiet on one side of the fence for like about a week as the show. And this is if it goes through, okay? It's going to be real quiet for about a week. And it's going to be a little bit downtrodden. And then once the ranks start, gathering steam again, in about a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, then this crap is going to start piling up and it's going to start coming out again. And then it's going to get real nasty because, and I keep telling guys this, and I'm telling everybody this, by the way, Xbox fans specifically, I've been talking to them and I'm like, listen, guys, gals, don't do what other people are doing. If they win, if they get this thing and they do what they do, don't be a jackass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Do not stoop to those levels. Don't be rude. Don't be obnoxious. Don't want to be happy. There's no problem with being happy. Colt. Colt's next video. I won. It's going to be a picture of him dressed up as the Emperor from Star Wars, and it's going to say ultimate power and like all lightning shooting out of his hands. Yeah. So,
wait,
listen,
are you?
Don't be that person, okay? Don't.
I can't. Are you saying I'm not allowed to?
No, not you. You can do whatever you want. I'm talking about everybody in the chat listening to this now. Be happy. Be supportive. Be excited. Be excited. Be happy. Be like, yay! Don't do that. Don't stoop to those levels.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the phone, as we said in the 90s. Hold the freaking phone. If this thing passes, you're not going to make Ponymaster 420 video that is going to take you to the upper echelons of fame and wonder.
Maybe if there's something really funny about it, yes, but it has to be funny. I'm not just going to do it just to be whatever. I'm not going to be toxic. And that I saw somebody in the chat. It's like Mag's a pony again. No, I'm not a pony, for crying out loud. But I'm just saying, when like take that whole kung fu style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because somebody shoves you and you just happen to be like, a fourth Dan, black belt in Taekwondo, you don't have to take the guy out and break nine bones in his body. A lot of those people just back off and just be like, it's okay. And just be the peaceful one. But be happy and celebrate. Have fun. Post things on Twitter. Be excited. Do it. You know what I mean? It's a big win for the community, and it's a good thing. But keep it positive. Don't be toxic like some of those toxic idiots I've seen on the Twitter Spaces. Some of the people that make those really obnoxious podcasts where it's just so toxic and awful. Like, it's just with all the. I mean, I don't mind swearing and stuff like that and whatever, but there's a lot of derogatory talk in there. A lot of horrible things that people say. This like really awful things and really really toxic. Don't stoop to those levels. Stay away from those clowns. Be positive, be happy, and be excited that you, as a customer and as an Xbox fan, are going to have a great future, right? And a great future in entertainment. Sorry, excuse me. I should rephrase that. Great future in entertainment because, it's not going to change your future. It's just going to make your entertainment a hell of a lot more exciting and better for you. And that's a great thing. So keep it like that.
What a great, wonderful, wholesome speech from Mag. He sets a great example for us to celebrate in a positive way because we have a good thing going for us if this thing passes, and to not be toxic. That's what I got from Megs. Now it's my turn.
Go.
If we win this ABK thing, I want you guys to go out there and tell those ponies where to stick. No, I'm just kidding. But Dead Time in the chat says that Gaz will unleash a river of sauce. There will be some fun to be had. I'm going to figure out how to ride that line of being a decent. There's Doc Dark's in the chat right now. He goes, "Don't be toxic." It's like, Doc, you have the whole highway, every lane. You just take it with all full speed, Doc, and just have a good time. Find that line of it'd be toxic, Dark. You'll be able to have a good time with it. No, everyone that you charge.
Yeah, I know. Fizz Pain, I saw what you wrote. No, trust me, bro. I know you're just joking around, but trust me, it ain't soft. That's hard because it's way more difficult to be calm and cool than to, you know what I mean? Than to be the hothead. Trust me, I faced a lot of scraps in my time and a lot of negative stuff, and I've even had a gun pointed at my face a few times. Right? It's not a pleasant experience, and there's a lot of those
probably
times
not. Jeez.
No, it's not. It's not a pleasant thing. But you know what? I could easily have taken out at least 25 people without even a blink of an eye with whatever. But the point is, it's not the way you do it. The way you do it is you walk away and be happy because that pisses them off even more. And let me tell you something. You want to get back at people? Just be happy and positive. My God, people hate that. Do videos of you dancing with ice cream and holding hands. That'll drive like the toxic. I almost said some of the names. I'm not going to say that. It'll drive the toxic people insane.
Well, okay, let me hold on.
Do that. Hold on. That's funnier.
I get it, Mag. Because the majority of my content is positive talk about gaming in general. That would pretty much be almost all of it. Even when I bashed big prominent sites or journalists, I do it super respectfully. I never take a shot at them. I just say, here's what so-and-so said. Here's why they're not right, or here's why they're wrong. And I do it without calling names. Now, I watch people oh no, it's Alex, that will insult people, and it's really, really fun. But I also have to say, being one of the Xbox guys on YouTube, among some really greats, and Zucker's in the chat, he'll tell you every day that I deserve everything I get because I'm always out there poking the bear, stirring the pot. But I get some pretty horrid DMs. People that I have lists of people muted that if I ever go and look at those, they call me idiot, moron, fraud, paid shill. And
that's just me. That's just me sending those messages. That's not even the toxic guys. That's just me before the show.
Mag and his main account. Yeah, and of course, I got to say the flip side in a second. But of course, if this thing goes through, I'm super tempted to say, you guys can suck on it until you get to the marrow because I'm so sick and tired of your crap. But also, let me take the flip side. It is so possible that this thing will get blocked and Xbox will completely walk away, and it will be either way. It's a war zone, right? Whatever the decision is. But as an Xbox fan, those of you who are here, thank you so much. Let me say the 44% that admitted they're console warriors. Being online on forums or comment sections or whatever is, if this thing does not go through, they will take it. They will use it as a burning lava insult, no matter what you say. You could make a post to say, I'm really enjoying Fist on Game Pass, and they would say, you got fisted from the ABK thing.
What? Jesus.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad no matter what. It's going
to be ugly, man. It's going to be ugly. Like I said, I'm only going to make a video if there's something really funny, or at least I think is funny, comes out of it. Like someone really goes off the deep end and does something ridiculous. Then I'll make fun of that because that's kind of funny. But I'm not going to engage in people in a negative, like you know what I mean? The negative fashion. By the way, a lot of people are asking me, they're like, damn, Meg, what have you been doing out in these streets? Listen. When you are a restaurant owner and you get big time in the restaurant industry, you deal with a lot of shady stuff over the years. Yeah. And it's not that you want to deal with those things. It's just those things happen. They just come to you because unfortunately a lot of those shady people are involved in that business. And when you're involved in that business as long as I have, I've seen a lot of stuff go down. Okay. So that's just the way it goes. But
anyway. It's made you the dude you are today.
Well, now I'm a corporate guy and a family man and everything else, and I was never involved in that stuff anyway. I was always just kind of there, but it's just sometimes you're just a victim of circumstance. But either way, I haven't, Anyway,
in other words, Mag was like, that's not my Switchblade.
No, just like I said, you stay out of those businesses. But unfortunately, a lot of those people control.
Go ahead, dust it for Prince. Go ahead.
Where do you get the booze from? Where do you get who do you think owns all those rackets and all those things?
Oh,
it's all owned by very specific types of people. So it's a dangerous game. Anyways, enough of that. Like I said, guys, stay positive, have fun, crack a few jokes.
Confirmed, Mag was in the cartel, but we'll just leave it here amongst just 1,500 of our closest friends. We'll keep that quiet. Sour Blow, our good friend, he says, Mag, I'll do one better than say hi. I'll throw a $5 like I was in a strip club. By the way, Colt, where's my check? Well, we've yet to be paid from Microsoft, Sour Blow. Gamer by Choice says, let us compete and be messy. Laugh out loud. We'll be messy. Let's take some of Mag's advice.
Listen, have some fun with it. Just don't be like nasty toxic.
Just don't make personal attacks on people. Like, that's it right there. That's all I have to say is like, you can be messy, you can celebrate it, you can gloat, but don't make personal attacks on people. That's fine. Like, that's I think that's where it goes. Spartan has another $2. Thank you, Spartan. He says, don't.
What?
No, I can't read it. He said, "Don't send inappropriate pics to get your way. Hold the line." Yeah, I mean, I can imagine a PlayStation fan sending inappropriate pictures to get his way with the FTC in more ways than one. Crisis 1711 Thank you for the 5. Says, I got a whole generation of crap I took from the ponies during the Xbox One era. We're charging over here. See, I mean, it's bound to happen. Dean Rivera, thank you for the 5. He says, 2 docs were filed not long ago so far. I'm refreshing the page to see one that matters is posted. Same. I am been refreshing it all throughout the show. So if the news dropped, we could talk about it immediately. So far, I'll refresh again. Nada. And I know
none of my people are talking either, so there's nothing really going on. By the way, Sour Blow, I took your $5. I put it in my thong. Carry on. Didn't you see me stand up and I just adjusted? That's what I did. I wasn't adjusting my pants. I was putting the $5 into my thong and carrying on with my day. So anybody else wants to make it rain, go ahead. The Mag's OnlyFans has started. It's after 9:30. Kids are in bed, so it's time to party. Carry on, Colt.
Oh my gosh! All right, we got 2 more. Eternal Shadeye says, "Are you saying to stop having beef with the ponies?" Beefmaster Cog says the same thing, but sometimes we have to protect our favorite plastic grills. And shout out to Cog and Eternal Shadeye, of course. Shout out to Cog for being stand up on the thing. He's also taught me not to fight with people. He's been really pushing hard to say, just don't even engage with them. And I did really good for about a year. And lately, I occasionally just say, you know what? Shut up. One more from Dub. He said, thank you for the 5. He says, sorry to hear all this negativity you and the others have been getting lately. Just knowing you are all definitely appreciated. Keep doing what you're doing. And we do appreciate that. And from everybody around the world. You guys are amazing. Hargeet Chani says, well, technically they were sending Hargeet. He says, if they're sending inappropriate pics, they're kind of holding the line. Yeah, they're holding something, those guys. I'll tell you what, I think we do have the best community, and we were going to have a shorter show today, and this went kind of longer than I expected. But Mag, thank you so much for having a good time with me, and hopefully we get that news next couple hours. Until the meantime, what do you have to say for yourself, Mag? Okay, yeah, you are muted. Hold on. Maybe?
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah, now you're back now. Sorry, chat. Discord has been cutting out his mic on my end, but you could still hear him. Sometimes, it's happened a couple times during the show, and I was able to keep up.
Really weird. So anyways, what I'm going to say, which was really nice, I was just trying to say that it was a great show. We broke some records. I'd like to see even more people. And like I said, 2,000. I want to see 2,000. A show is going to be the norm at some point. And once again, chat, you guys have been amazing. Colt, you're amazing. It's been such a great time doing all this. And I got to say, I could put my head on my pillow every single night and smile, knowing that even, we give our time to do this kind of thing, and just to go to bed every night and close my eyes and know that everybody around the world listening to the show is giving their time to listen to us and respect what we got to say is so humbling and so incredible, and I absolutely love every single one of you guys. So it's just amazing, and gals and everybody else around the world. You just guys are awesome. So anyways, great show. Hopefully we have some news for you, but there wasn't any news tonight. But keep our fingers crossed. We'll hear what's going on, and we'll talk to you guys next week then.
Thank you, Meg. And isn't that kind of nice to know that you and I probably will never have to talk about this again? Like, if it dies, it dies. If it passes, we'll bring it up occasionally, like, well, when do we get the first round of games? And that's where I really hope we're sitting at. And
nice. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Just Squirrel says, mute him again. You will love Mag. Always. And shout out to Pushing Polygons for being the sponsor of the show. I didn't do any business related stuff other than reading out the channel members, but he's up on there in the corner. He's in the description if you want to check out his channel. Pushing, you need to get a hold of me so we can do our next session. Let's do that this week after I get my ABK video out. Hopefully that's going to happen. But yeah, we really appreciate it. We're also on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. I would go longer, but oh man, I'm exhausted. And hopefully, just give me a hug, everybody. And hopefully we just know everything will turn out okay tonight. You guys have been amazing. We're going to get out of here. We've taken up too much of your time. Go enjoy your games. Rev up to be toxic and rev up to celebrate and have a good time. We're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Mag, thanks again, bro.
Good night, guys.
All right, see ya.